Hello, everyone. Gosh, I think we're live. Welcome to season 4, episode 46 of Excel TV. It's been a long hiatus, but first off, Jay Lookup, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Wow. Wow. It's hard to believe. Episode 46 to even say those numbers. Excel TV, I started it recording in a basement, and I guess we're back to that. So I'm doing well. I'm in Brooklyn, New York these days. So how are you, Rick?
Doing great. It was weird. The very first interview I did with you was even before Excel TV started. So it was kind of a preseason. I was doing it on my own website at the time. And even then, you were in your basement. It was just kind of like this. So anyways,
I have a very basement affect about me. I'm Powder-esque.
Very true. So here at season 4. This is Rick Grantham. Actually, not rickgrantham.com anymore.
Not anymore. No.
Grantham at bibrains.com. Coming to you from sunny Northeast Florida, where I'm sitting right by the window right now, overlooking the pool. And I made a promise today that I would only call my trusty sidekick over there, Jay Lookup. I couldn't say Jordan. So Jay Lookup. So welcome, Jay Lookup. How's the weather?
The weather in New York is cold, but not snowy. I'm kind of missing some snow. I've been looking forward to it, and nothing doing this year.
All right. Well, welcome back. So everyone, well, first off, hey, we're back after a long hiatus. Gosh, it's been several years. So hey, let you know what we've been doing over the last few years, and maybe we can even share a screenshot here. Let's see if I can do that. Share screen.
Well, Rick, you said while you're doing that, you said you're from BI Brains, and obviously I have my own site, but we're both with Excel.tv, so I want to make sure to mention that.
Absolutely. Okay, my entire screen, so bam. I'll give you an idea of what we've been doing over the last few years. What we figured out is you can only be a blogger, you can only be a video guy, you can only exist on the web for so long without making any money. Right? You find that your loved ones lose patience. That your kids lose patience. Just the amount of hours that it goes into editing videos, et cetera, with really no income coming into it. And after a while, even your bosses start to say, so right now, are you working on my stuff? Or are you working on Excel TV? So it becomes a very easy an easy thing for people to look at and say, well, if something isn't going right, well, it's because you're spending your time there. So what we decided to do is step back a little bit and take some time and to see if there are ways that we might be able to monetize this. So first off, Jordan, I trust you can see my screen, correct?
I can.
One of the things we did over the last few years is we worked with some people, and I'm over at Excel TV right now, on Excel training courses. So some ways, everything that we've done up until we started putting out training courses was a free way to basically an opportunity to give free content out to the community. So what we've worked on the last several years, and hopefully you can see this okay, are several different courses that we have with people who have been on Excel TV or friends of the program. So everything from a course that Jordan did, based solely largely around the 2 books that he has out there, Excel Dashboard Pro. We also work with Ken Pulse over at excelguru.ca, who has been on the show quite a few times. He did a building BI with pivot tables course for us, and we're also hosting his error checking course over here as well. Sylvie worked with us on a course, and of course our friend that we met out in the conference world, a friend of ours, Ryan Wade, moved more into data science with R for Power BI. So we're moving a lot more into that space as well. So that's a bit about what we've been working on. And Jordan, I know there's some things we've been working on in the community as well. Would you mind hitting on that?
Sure. So, in addition to what we were doing with the courses, which were part of our vision, we wanted to build up a community. We wanted to build up a community of folks. And from an infrastructure standpoint, we've succeeded. We have a lot of Facebook followers. We have a nice email list and some good interactivity. But I think what we heard from the community over this time as we were building up is that they missed this show, and that in a certain sense they missed us. And I sort of missed the person I was when I used to come on this show. I had become very much about business. So, we really thought we need to go back to fundamentals. There was a point at which I think that, I really wanted the show to be perfect, right? I wanted it to be really well edited. And it became, the concept grew beyond what I think what we really wanted, which was just to turn on the camera and show people what we know in Excel. And I think that that's what we want to go back to, because we're just like you. You know, we're the analysts, the workers, the people who just turn on the camera like, hey, let's help. Here's what you need. So Excel TV wants to help you become better in Excel, and not just that, it wants to help you help your friends become better in Excel. So we're really, and not just even Excel anymore, as we'll talk about later in the show, but you know, be better at this space so that we make better decisions with data, and also that we function as a community.
Yeah, and we even heard that from some of the people that we interviewed, because it became a task of mine every year of,
right.
We're .tv, we got to be more polished. We need a more polished opening. We need professional editors. We need blah, blah, blah. This needs to be, and every year it had to be a little bit better. And no, let's be honest, you can't look from season to season and really see that. but you know, that was always a goal. We needed to turn it into an actual show. And one of the people that we interviewed, Daniel Stein Fairhurst, in the last season, I believe that we had her. She's over there at she does financial modeling. I can't remember the name of the website right now. Maybe you can look that up, Jordan.
Plum Solutions is her company.
Yeah, Plum Solutions, plumsolutions.com, or I know she's in Australia, so it might be a UA or AU or something or another. But over in Plum Solutions, so we interviewed her as well, and she said, "Hey, I give you guys some feedback." So every time you hear feedback, maybe. But the feedback was, hey, you guys just turning on the camera is what makes it unique, you know, and sure, if you want to do the polish, that's all fine and everything, but it taken 3 weeks or so to put out a more polished version of a show. You know, I think maybe that's not what the community is looking for from you guys. And so, so we've taken that to heart as we're considering what the next version is going to be. So anyways, this is it right now.
Yeah.
It's the owners of Excel TV here, the founders. Yeah, there may be co-hosts from time to time that'll pop in. But right now, it's turning on the camera, shooting the shit, and talking about Excel and talking about analytics.
And you know, I have 2 ideas for a show, and these are probably hard to do. I want to do a clip show. All right, that one's hard to do. See, this is what happens is I like want to go too big. I also want to do a roast of Bill Gell and Mr. Excel. So Bill, we're gonna roast you. You've been warned. That one's gonna happen.
Yeah, you've been saying that for about 4 or 5 years. So I
know. Well, I had to write the material.
So in short, basically, we were one other group that we heard this from a lot. Anytime that Jordan, or I would hear this from Oz as he came back from Excel, or as he would come back from MVP summits, you know, where he would see all the other Excel MVPs there. So one of the main questions that would come up is whatever happened to Excel TV, whatever happened to the interviews, whatever happened. And so, you know, it wasn't just the analysts out there, it was our peers out in the community as well. And what we found is that we were so consumed with turning this into a business that to a large extent we forgot what made it special. So, you know, last year Jordan and I went through quite a bit, you know, over the last few years. Since the last time we've been on camera talking to you. So Jordan, if you wouldn't mind giving a quick synopsis before we get back onto the show.
Yeah, sure. So in the last year, I lost my job. I got laid off. And then I went through a divorce, and then I had a loved one die. And so I had a lot of soul searching, as it were, about what I wanted to do. And the thing is that, you know, I was doing these corporate jobs because I really wanted to finance going out on my own. And what I realized is that I had a moment to do it. So I live a little bit leaner now. But also that means I'm working full-time on my own business, and I'm doing this. And on top of that, I'm also getting an EMT certification. So I'm not going to go penniless. I am going to have a job there. And I actually kind of hope to take some of the things that I learned. I'm still in class. I actually I just got my grade for the final before we got on here. So I passed. So I get to go do practicals for the state. So when I become an EMT, I think that there are things that actually can cross-pollinate, not just from an Excel sense, but in sort of the business sense that I work on. And I want to talk more. I want to bring, you know, before I was just bringing Excel, and I definitely want to bring more of the kind of business side and how it weaves into Excel as well. So those are the things I'm really working on career-wise, and also hopefully bringing some of those learnings out over the several years that we've been gone back to Excel TV and for you, the community.
Great, thank you for that. And I guess, gosh, on my side, there's been a lot going on. I got divorced about 4.5 years or so ago, and so I moved 3 or 4 times, sold the house, and finally have gotten back a lot closer to where my children live. I was only more than 20 miles away, but it's just inconvenient. Nobody's going to come over and borrow gas money if you're 30 minutes away. So a lot of moving. Had a loved one die. My my sister passed away, and some career changes as well. And one of those career changes will be, it'll be announced a little bit more publicly, gosh, in the next week or so. But I guess as part of that, I'll just go ahead and tell you that I'm working with BI Brains right now. BI Brains, you might remember, gosh, one of our episodes, and maybe I'll share my screen on this. One of our episodes was, we did that with, I want to say it might have even been season 1. Season 2, I guess. Season 2. Yeah, it's right here. So BI thought leader, Miko Yuck. So we had her on the show. She's been a friend of mine in the community for many years. So you can go and check out her episode that we did, episode number 30. Name of her company, she's a keynote speaker, an entrepreneur, an author, the data visualization, Data Viz for Dummies. She wrote that one, along with a co-author. And she's basically a thought leader. If you go to any analytics community, there's a chance she's not only there, but she may be, she may be the keynote speaker of that. So to get to work with someone of her caliber every day is kind of a, whoops, so I'm going to stop sharing here. It's kind of a phenomenal thing. So one of the benefits is even just earlier this week, I guess my role there is chief analytics officer. So I report directly to Miko. And so I run all the consulting side of the business and all the deployment, et cetera, et cetera. But even just sitting there with her and her sister, Suya, who's the chief operating officer, and understanding how they view online businesses, how they create funnels and how they create, and the benefit of going to conferences, et cetera, and how leads are generated and everything else. It's just very interesting to tap into someone who is just so adept at this and understands it at such a high level. So a lot of career changes, good career changes, I think. So that means, hey, me being in front of the camera because, Miko has a podcast that she puts out there. She's about that she had before. It was called Analytics on Fire. And she's about to release it again. Not Analytics on Fire, but another version of that. And so just even understanding the processes, et cetera, which means I need to start becoming much more much more, I guess, out there. So Excel TV is back, baby. So there's just been a lot going on, a lot of turmoil, et cetera. But at the same time, hey, we're here. And what this episode is called, Like a Phoenix. Jordan like a Phoenix, me like a Phoenix. We're coming from the ashes, and we're ready to make Excel TV season 4. Fucking awesome.
I hope so. I certainly hope so.
So back to the free content. So you'll start to see blog posts come out a lot more around Excel TV, et cetera, et cetera. So with that, there are some goals that we have for the year. Jordan, did you want to hit on this, or would you like for me to?
You can go. You can do it, and I'll just add in my comments. Sounds
great. So welcome to 2019. And, if you look back at the Excel TV website right now, and you go back about 5 or 6 blog posts, and something like, "Hey, 2017, here's what we did." And so there wasn't a lot of content last year, right?
No, there was not
at all. And so it was probably 6 months in between blog posts. So let me share my screen again. Share. Okay. So if you go to our website, then over here in the blog area, this is me airing the dirty laundry here. Gosh, no, that can't be right. That's blog post 2014. That's not right.
No, that's not right, because I did that earlier this year. I tried doing that. I tried to have that series going, but
okay. I think
there's much going on.
It's just the category.
Yeah.
You say our last blog post was May 10th?
Yeah, I think so. I think I try to do a Friday Fire series, but
right. And then you go back from that. There's takeaways from the 2017 reader survey. Right. Which is basically saying, hey, we did planning sessions. We got all prepped. We knew what we were going to do for the coming year, but we couldn't make it happen. And so, we're back with the free content now and hoping to make that happen this year and start to move forward. But what you'll start to see are blogs come out and a bit more frequency. We've had a lot of what I would call false starts. where we've planned to do something, and we get a few episodes in or a little bit in, and you'll see over here Excel in the Wild is one of those, or Friday Fire is one of those. So we're really going to focus much more this year on having a predictable business model and a predictable community model, where we haven't had that over the last few years as we have focused more on the business. So that's one part of it, content coming back out from Excel TV, something that you can rely on, and something that would bring new people to the website, new people to the community. Number two that we're going to start focusing on a lot more is, I believe we had it over here, one moment. Number two was, refresh my memory here, Jordan. It was the blogging, and there was more videos. And what are your thoughts around the videos, Jordan? 'Cause I know right now what Jordan's going to focus on, since he's such a prolific writer.
I tried to make videos. I can't keep it up. There's too much editing. I just like writing, man. I'm just like, I can crank things out. I know videos are the future of the internet, but call me old school. This, I think what you were thinking of, Rick, was doing the Excel TV show. That would be one of our things, and also keeping up more free blog content.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
yeah.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Oh, all of which is to say that I don't blog on Option Explicit VBA anymore. I'm going to try to have some more blogs on Excel TV. I already have some new content I've developed that we'll talk about later in this episode. But my my forte is writing, so hopefully you'll see a few more blog posts as I learn a few more things in Excel, and I'm able to share them.
Great. And there are some people out there in the industry who do put out, weekly content on video, and so we're going to tap into them as well. So if you're one of those people out there who put out free content, but you need a broader place to be able to display that, get contact with me over at rick@excel.tv, and so we could discuss whether or not this is a platform, where we could host some of your video content. So feel free to get in contact with me related to that. And of course, the final goal of this year is we're bringing back the show, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't know yet if this is going to be every other month or every month, but I would anticipate this is the first of what will be 6 to 12 or so episodes this year.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what the format's going to be yet, but it might just be like this: turning on the cameras, shooting the shit, talking about Excel, talking about analytics, talking about the industry, and at the same time also sharing a tip every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, Jordan, let's move over to the next area. We wanted to talk about the future of Excel. Go ahead. You mind serving that up?
Yeah, no problem. So look, a lot of things have changed since we last left off. A lot of the emphasis in this space has changed. So whereas when I first started the stuff online, it was it was just becoming bigger, and the power stuff was just becoming bigger. I don't know if you remember, Rick, our first episode was around modern Excel. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's not a term anymore, really.
Right? Yeah. So Rob Colley's term on modern Excel, I know Sylvia used it quite a bit. And in some ways, that sort of conception of what modern Excel would be has gone away. So, I just want to get your idea, your thoughts, and we'll kind of get a bit of a discussion on this before we go to the tip. What are your thoughts? What have you seen? Now, I know you come from Oracle. So really just in taking a step back into this data, because Microsoft's all about the data platform. So what have you seen in this data space change? And what are the exciting developments? Because Excel has a pulse on a lot of them.
Yeah, I'd say I'm less Oracle, more SAP, but to your point, and this isn't just in the last few months, right? I'm talking about the last few years since we've started Excel TV, how things really evolved and how things changed, not necessarily in the Excel space, but in the analytics space, because we're all getting data from somewhere to get it into Excel. And we're all, at least most of us, unless you're a financial analyst, you're probably a report builder of some type who uses Excel as your tool. And there are a lot of tools you have to deal with, which might be Tableau, ClickView, a lot of other things as well. So the things that I've seen in a larger kind of enterprise view over the last several years as it's evolved is, number one, I've seen a lot more data science. I've seen a lot more thinking, a lot more courses, a lot more integration.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just bring up the course that we have over at Excel TV, not to try to pimp out that course. But I had the benefit of going through it as I edited it, and just understanding how R open source R, statistics language. The best way is to be able to use that with Power BI for visualization, and all those sorts of integrations and the thinking around that is something that's really evolved over the last few years. And that might have something to do, and the reason it's appropriate here is just, many of the analysts of Excel 4 years ago, a subset of those are now analysts of Power BI. They're moving to the next stage. And so understanding how those sorts of things integrate and how you use statistical tools, et cetera, to make that happen, it's not all Minitab anymore. Back when I was doing Six Sigma and doing regression modeling and ANOVA and things like that, it was more, hey, get the data into Minitab, build your control charts, et cetera, and you don't really need to do that so much anymore. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need a data scientist, to build your R scripts and all that sort of stuff. But understanding that a lot more, it's become much more on I won't say every man's desktop, but a lot more people's desktop. So I'm seeing that a lot more. I'd say another thing that I'm seeing in the industry overall is a lot more cloud. I'm seeing even in the SAP world with the proliferation of SuccessFactors, which is their an HR company that they bought, which basically has HR in the cloud. I'm seeing, for my clients, understanding how that cloud data now integrates. Their question comes to, as you roll this out at a major university, and what I did like last year, or part of it, and you roll out these sorts of tools, these sorts of cloud tools for a major university. The first question comes is, well, all of our databases, all of our data warehouses are on premise. They're not in the cloud. So how do you get those to talk to each other? And then how do you do reporting? What sort of ETL processes are there going to, what sort of extraction, transformation, and loading processes are going to be whenever you're dealing with cloud data? So these are problems that really didn't exist too much, 10 years ago. If you had any problem with that 10 years ago, it's because you were grabbing ADP data or something like that, some sort of payroll data, and you guys just got a hold of ADP, and you said, hey, create me a flat file, create me a file, FTP it over here, and our systems will read it. And that was a lot simpler. But now, when you're looking for real-time data for systems that you actually subscribe to, how do you make all that happen? So I'm seeing, a lot of opportunity and a lot of solutions that are coming out in the industry of how do you bridge that gap, not just with data transformation, but are there other now cloud-based analytics systems that can connect into SuccessFactors or your cloud ERP system, along with all of your analytics tools, to be able to create some sort of an overview. So I'm seeing a lot of that. I'll say probably the third thing that I'm not seeing a lot of open source anymore. Outside of open source R.
Really?
I used to think that was going to be the wave of the future. I used to think in Tahoe, open source BI, that sort of thing. I thought that was going to be a lot more the wave of the future, and I haven't seen a whole lot of that. I have seen Tableau kind of take over the last few years, along with Power BI, but something you can get relatively cheap, and you can get it on your desktop, and people can just start building reports. And it hides the fact that it's open source R in the background, which it is.
What, Tableau or Power BI?
Tableau has open source R in the background, and even SAP's analytic engine, they call it predictive. I think they call it machine learning now.
Yeah,
I was one of the beta testers for that, for their HR. So I was supposed to build predictive models, test it out before they rolled it out, their version 1. They said, and they're the ones who told me that Tableau was that way. So, and even for that at the time, you had to install the R libraries, right? So that's open source R. Here's basically what's happening in the industry, right? You can either build it, you can either build something that's proprietary, like SAS does, right? You can build something that's proprietary to where now you need data scientists to build any code whatsoever. You need very expensive people to be able to run it. Or you take something that's open source that every statistician coming out of college learns, right? And so what SAP and some other companies have done is they've said, okay, we'll take open source R that's already out there. We're going to create connectors from that to our databases, HANA, et cetera, and those sorts of things. So we'll create some connectors in there, and then we'll put a little flashy GUI on the front end and make it look however we want to. So at least that's what it was 4 years ago or so, whenever they were first rolling out the first version. So I'm seeing that quite a bit. So a lot more cloud, and I'll hit on one more thing. I'm also seeing a lot more in memory. From HANA to to all the other competing systems that are out there. But I'm seeing a lot more in memory, which almost makes you wonder to what extent do you need a data warehouse anymore, or do you need one or not? If you're already, if summarizing data isn't a problem anymore, and if you can connect directly to a database or even have your data warehouse in HANA or some sort of in-memory system, then the need to summarize tons of data and have scripts run overnight for 12 hours or whatever else to be able to get the data in the right place so that you can connect to it with reports, it's becoming less and less of an issue. And you're hearing the term data lakes come up a lot more. Why don't you just put everything in one place and let me grab it and make sure the place that it's at is really fucking fast. What sorts of things are you seeing, Jordan?
Man, that was a thorough review.
I'll just a few years.
Yeah, we had some time to make up for. Good question. So I think what I'm seeing in terms of not just software, but in terms of people, like the analyst, right? So if you were an analyst, you always had to be good at multiple things. But now, it's more than just being a jack of all trades. Like, I'm just a good analyst. You have to specialize, or you have to be good at several of those things and be known for that thing. So like, I can do Tableau. I get possible contracts when people are like, "Are you a Tableau person?" I'm like, "Well, I'm not a Tableau person, but like, I'm an Excel person, but I can do it." I'm like, "No, we're looking for a Tableau person." The same thing's happening with Power BI. So it's really not enough just to be good at all of them. You do need to kind of specialize in one and make a name for yourself in one. And I think what you're saying about the cloud technologies is definitely spot on. I think we were making fun of the term data scientist and big data last we started the show. And now, we still make fun of big data a little bit, but it's become something that is more of a reality that people understand. I think when it came out, no one really, look, no one ever knows what any of these technology names mean anyway, but at least big data actually, I think, has, in terms of referring to a cloud type of technology and the algorithms you use in the cloud, I think it actually has taken on some form. Whether it's actually delivered value to businesses, I think is just really dependent on the business case, but yeah, so Ricky mentioned Oracle, SAP, Excel is becoming bigger in the cloud space. There's Azure machine learning. I haven't used a whole lot of that, but I hope this year is one of the goals that I had for 2019 was to build out Excel machine learning. Even if you can't do it in Excel, you could probably explain it very well in Excel. So if you're writing it in R, you could probably put some of it in Excel and show it to people. So I think there's still a place for it.
That's great. So with that, Jordan, we told you it's just going to be us turning on the camera and shooting.
That's right.
So, next up, Jordan, there's no fancy intro here.
No.
Do you mind going through the Excel tip this week?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm going to show you this thing I built. Let me share my screen. I'm gonna actually, let's see here. It's been so long since I last shared my screen. All right, I'm gonna click on your entire screen here. Now you probably see the infinite regressions. Can you see my Excel sheet here?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if you can hear this. I'm gonna hit this button here. All right, so it turned. This is. Let me, before I start off with anything. You probably didn't hear anything because I turned the machine off, so to speak. So as I said, I'm becoming an EMT. What's coming up in practicals is we're going to do a skills test where it's using an AED with CPR management. So first of all, I encourage everyone to go out there. If you can get your CPR license, you will have to use an AED. You'll have to take a test, and so this could be a study aid for the test, and that's certainly what I'm using it for scenarios. So just beyond if you're taking a paramedics course in EMT or certified first responder, if you're just doing CPR tests, this could be good for that as well. Okay, so first thing you do is you turn the machine on. Did you hear that, Rick?
No, I didn't.
Okay, let me see. I'm gonna see if this works. I'm gonna pull out this mic here. This is always a bad idea. We're gonna change because I want to make sure you get to hear this. So the microphone, let's make that. Okay, can you still hear me? Just not as well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. So let's see here. ProStream. Yep. I'm gonna hit save on that. So now I think you'll be able to hear this. So I'm gonna turn this off again. I'll turn it back on.
Apply pads to patient's body.
Perfect.
When finished, plug in pad connector.
Okay, so the first thing you always do with an AED is listen to the instructions. Don't try to do something differently. What you can do now is you can actually place the pad. So I'm going to place the pad in this position here. You see I've placed it here, placed it here. Once I've done that, the pad connector is going to light up. So I'm going to go ahead and click that.
Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch patient.
Yeah, stand clear, stand clear.
Shock advised.
Stand clear.
Charging. Charging. Stay clear of patient. Deliver shock now. Press the orange button now.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and deliver the shock. Stand
Shock
clear.
delivered. Pause. If needed, begin CPR.
Patient is showing signs of life. Discontinue CPR. Okay, so that's what you would do, something like that. Okay, let me go back over here. Okay, so I have my, I've built this. I'm going to just show you how all of this works. The first thing I'm going to do is unprotect everything. So I've unprotected it all. All of these things here, these are just text boxes. These icons here.
Heart rhythm.
Oh,
Do not touch patient.
we'll just let it go
Shock
do this
advised.
its thing here.
Charging. Charging. Stay clear of patient. Deliver shock now. Press the orange button now.
Okay, let me just turn my machine off. Okay, machine is off. So all of these, I'm going to hold control and click this. This button here, the rim of that is just a shape. I used some lighting on it. The icon on here, as well as all these icons, come from Open Clip Art. So if you want to know where I got this silhouette of a human, Open Clip Art. This here, I'm going to hit Control Click. This is just a rounded rectangle shape. And in fact, now that I don't need to have you hear this anymore, I'm just going to plug this back in. Okay, so you can see that's a rounded rectangle shape. Real quick. Okay, so I plug my mic back in. So these are rounded rectangles. So that's all you're doing is you're clicking on these. So let's go take a look at the code real quick. So I'm going to let you go through the code on your own. But if you ever want to make you ever want Excel to speak, it's always application.speech.speak. And then in quotes, you can say what you want it to do. I believe Sylvia was actually the first person to show us that tip. So that's how I'm making this speak. The other thing I want to show you is, you notice how that these shapes changed, right? So this changed, it lit up. And this one lit up here too. So this is called AED indicator. I can hit this button. I have put in the mic so you can't hear the readings, but it's the directions it's giving me. But you see when it's done with it, it goes red. Well, what I could have done is I could have taken this shape, and then when you hit a button, it executes some code, right, that would make it red. So it would design it red. By that I mean, you know, what did I do? I added a bevel, I added some glow. So I could have figured out everything I did with that and copied the code. But I was thinking more about if you build sprites, or if you do any sort of game development, you might have images that are already pre-rendered. So rather than having VBA code like select this object and then make it red and change the shadow, do all this, I created two different versions of them already. So we have one over here, that's this rectangle. And then if I click on this one over here, that's the one it turns into. So basically all I did was use a camera tool. I'm going to show this to you here. So I've selected this. I'm going to go click on my camera and paste it over here. Hopefully you've seen the camera tool before. All I did is use some code to change what the camera tool refers to. So notice I've named these. So if I type in AED.off, that's going to be this region right here. I'll click enter. You see that it refers to that. And if I type it to be .on, it's going to refer to this next one. So that's all I did. So rather than have the code do multiple things and make it normal looking, and then use step by step to make it red, to make it give a shadow, things like that, I pre-built them, and then this becomes literally one line of code, right? If it's this, turn it to this. If it's this, turn it back to that. Super easy, right? So I did that with all of these. So in addition to learning how to do CPR, or excuse me, how to use an AED with this, you can also learn how to do some Excel stuff. So the other thing is, I thought, that's pretty cool. But I bet what I could do is I could do a sprite. So basically, a sprite is a series of key animations, and then when you put it all together, you get an animation in a video game, right? So this is one, that's one, that's one, and if you run it by really fast, your eyes fill in the blanks. I mean, it gives the effect of movement, right? So what I would have the camera tool is start here, go through here, do this, 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 and would do it on a certain timered amount. So I have these really lazy buttons I created here, but I hit go, and you can see it's sort of going. Let me stop that. I don't know why it's going so slowly. I bet if I close this, it'll go faster. Sometimes that that timer could be a little finicky. So it looks like it's going, and it looks like it's stuck. Hold on, let me see. Let's do this guy. See if he does better. He's still going really slowly.
Dude, that's badass though.
Oh, thanks. It looked better. I will say it looked better. I wonder if I could reopen it and see if that'll help. It looked better before, but yeah. Basically, you can run a sprite, and I'm gonna just try it one more time because it's too cool to you know, not do. But yeah, so basically you can use the camera tool to do keyframes, right? I'm gonna move this guy. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen again. It's going slightly faster this time. I don't know. Maybe having the camera on is what's doing it. You know, I'm a perfectionist. This is the problem. I got to learn how to
not be so perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, can't you see what I'm wearing? Don't I look like such a perfectly put together human? There he goes. What's up, dude?
I'm more impressed with that than I am with your actual business application.
I know. Isn't that sad? You know, I stopped doing these because I thought, well, who wants this stuff anymore? I need to do stuff that makes money. But this is the stuff that people love. So I think that's what I was missing.
Who gives a shit about a Vegas? Actually, it was the coolest thing.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. No doubt. So that's the tip I got for everyone. I assume if Oz were here, he would give me three sriracha.
Here's what he'd say. Here's what I think he'd say. Okay. I wish I had a hat on. Okay. That was 3 srirachas. I need to know, though, when would you use this in a small business? So, like, I have a small nonprofit.
Yeah.
How would my nonprofit use your little Sprite Boy machine?
I have an answer for that. So if you have really bad numbers, you just have him run across it. No one notices the numbers. They're just like, wow, that's cool. That's cool.
All right.
That's how I would do it.
Thanks for the tip. We'll give that 4 srirachas.
All right.
TVs. So I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Gosh, we're getting near the end.
Wait. Oh, do you have a hard stop, Rick?
I don't have a hard stop for another 20 minutes or so. Is there something else you wanted to chat through?
Yeah, I actually have another section that I'm going to be working on, which is just like Jordan's thoughts. Remember?
I was just going to kick that over to you for that.
Yeah, because remember, this is like Jerry Springer, so we're going to have some thoughts to end it out. Okay, so look, a lot of the things I've learned over the last several years. Now, I've said this in my live courses. I haven't really had a chance to say it so much in a video space. Is this like everyone thinks that this is a technical problem? You, as an analyst, are probably sitting there thinking, I need to learn all these things because I want to make a difference at my company. And, you know, wouldn't it be great? Why do they have to bring this outside expert? They don't listen to me. Okay, so I was there, and it's a frustrating place to be in. And so what I want to really offer to you, especially as you do this Excel work, is how can you make a change? What can you do that's going to be effective, that's going to get people to listen? So, you know, how do you make waves? I say you do it on this concept, what I would call a bankable win. But before I go into that, I'm going to pull from my EMT training real quick because I think this is a good metaphor. So EMT started out as a result of car crashes on the highway, right? And we needed a way to transport people. We needed a way to get the traffic going again, and also to provide, you know, support out where the accident has taken place. So even though this is very new, what has been really built up is that we looked at things like cardiac arrest, like heart attacks, other critical life-ending problems, and we looked at them and said some of these are actually easy problems to solve. So CPR is something that you can do out in the field easily, and that's if someone's dead, right? They're dead, and you're literally bringing them back to life. So we looked at the intersection, right? On one side, it was all the life that you could die from that were emergencies, all right? Now, that's not everything. But we saw that there was a slice in here of quick things that we could do and then we could put research on and make even quicker. And we built a whole flow out of that, right? We created a whole workflow out of that. And so what I'm going to offer to you is, if you want to start making changes, if you want to affect change, don't go for the big stuff. It's important to learn R. It's important to learn everything. But what you really need to do is look at your business, look at the company you're in, and say, what are the most impending things right now? And what are the things I can change quickly? And if you focus on that slice, small though it is, people will take attention, because every time you do something in that space, you would have what I call a bankable win, which is to say a quick win, something you can put in your pocket because you turn it around easily. All right. If you have enough of those bankable wins, you bank them up, you can leverage into higher stuff. So that's my advice to you. If you want to get started, don't go in guns blazing about pie charts unless you're willing to, redo all the charts easily and put them side by side. I guess what I'm saying is, it's one thing to complain about it, but if you can find small things that everyone can understand, not just you, not just your buddies, but leadership, the people below you, if you find those things, you can actually speak to a lot of people, and that's how you do it. Or at least get started.
Get started, everybody.
2019 is the year to do it.
Yeah, it is. It's the year of the Phoenix. So, year to rise above. So, everyone, gosh, I think we're going to bring this to a close now. Jordan, any closing thoughts as we head out, or was that it? Did you just drop the mic there?
I guess only closing thoughts are, I'm consulting on my own again. If you need help, if your friends need help, if your business needs help, please, any sort of referral would be greatly appreciated. Even if it's like you're at a party, you're talking to someone, you're like, oh, I know this guy. This is how businesses start. I am at your mercy. Please help me out. And the more you help me out, the more things I learn from these gigs, the more things I share.
Yeah, you can get in contact with him over at Jordan at Excel TV. You invite him into your office. He will comb his hair. He'll
no, I will not.
he'll still have that trendy. Is that a pink watch you're wearing there?
This is my medical watch. It is trendy though.
Oh, yeah.
So I can do respirations and ventilations really easily.
Yeah. So yeah, all of the visual that you're seeing there, I guess that's.
I'll put on a button up. I'll shave.
He'll shave as needed. So gosh, we're gonna start kicking these back off again. So we're gonna figure out what our cadence needs to be and what sort of schedule we're gonna have these on. But if you're out there in the Excel community, and you'd like to be interviewed, like to be part of this show, and you think that you bring something to the table, as far as dialogue is concerned, as far as audience, et cetera, that can be of benefit to our audience and our community, then please get in contact with us. You can get me at rick@excel.tv. Again, that's rick@excel.tv. Just reach out to me. And gosh, you'll be hearing from us soon. But until then, that's Jordan Goldmeyer. And I'm Rick Rantham. And until next time,
keep on excelling.
Keep on excelling. We'll see you, y'all.